Circle podcast. I'm your host, Katherine Witcher, and today I'm sitting in Phoenix, Arizona. We just finished our Master IEP Coach Business Building Weekend, and I thought I'd give you a little sneak peek behind the scenes of what happened this weekend. If you don't already know, I love to teach parents, teachers, admins, and therapists how to become IEP coaches, special education consultants, really become the guide for parents and for other teachers to build IEPs that work in the real world, that prepare a child for further education, employment, and independent living. I made this career switch over 20 years ago, and this has been my full-time work. So when people started to ask me, can you teach me to do what you do? I actually said no. I said, no, I don't know how to teach you that. This has been my full-time work. I don't know. I don't know if I can teach you how to do this. But eventually I said yes. And around 2017, I took that leap and I decided to teach people to do what I do. And that's what I talk about all the time when I say the Master IEP Coach Mentorship. This is where you, as a parent, teacher, admin, or therapist, if you sit at an IEP table, you can become a Master IEP Coach. So for me, my quick story, many of you already know this. I have a brother who has Down syndrome. I watched my parents navigate the system for my brother and help him achieve an appropriate education. And that took a lot of, let's just say, bumps in the road with that. So I decided to become a teacher, and I go get my bachelor's, my master's. I'm in the classroom. But what I found myself doing is teaching during the day, and then I was helping parents at night learn how to build better IEPs through collaboration. See, because I was a teacher, I knew the inside of the system. Because I am a special needs sibling, I knew what it felt like from the family's perspective, and I put that expertise together, and I started to help parents through the IEP process. School districts got to see what I was doing, and they said, hey, can you come teach our teachers these strategies that you help this parent with? And I was like, yes, I'm all in with that. So for the last 25 years, that's what I've been doing full time, is working with parents. And then eventually I worked with schools and school districts, and then presenting at conferences and doing all those things and helping to build IEPs. And when I looked at what is possible if we start to work together as what's known now as Master IEP Coaches, when I started to think about that ripple effect, it got really exciting. So since 2017, the Master IEP Coach Mentorship has helped develop parents, teachers, admins, and therapists to become Master IEP Coaches. Now, some Master IEP Coaches choose to stay in their current job role, meaning that they are teachers or they are admins, they are therapists, they work inside the school district, and they come into the Master IEP Coach Mentorship because they want to stay in their role, and they just want all the strategies, all the things, so they can be better at the IEP table and really become that leader. And who knows, maybe later on, they may become a consultant themselves. But I will tell you that majority of our members inside of the Master IEP Coach Mentorship are looking for this to be their full-time or part-time career. That they're looking to build their influence and their impact by guiding parents through the IEP process. Now, here's the great thing. If you're like, this sounds great, but I don't know if I know enough. I don't know if I can help everybody. I don't know if I can. That's exactly what I teach you inside of the mentorship. Here's the thing. I don't know everything about special education. I'll tell you that. I know a lot about special education, but I'm never going to claim to know everything. Every child is unique. Every situation has kind of its own quirks or just kind of things that are happening within, the IEP process. There's always things to learn inside of the system. But I got really, really good at helping specific situations. I got really good at building IEP goals that work in the real world. I got really good at doing certain things. So that's how I built my Master IEP Coach practice. So when I was working independently and I was working one-on-one with clients, which I don't do anymore because all my time is spent teaching others how to become Master IEP Coaches. So I spend all my time doing that now, okay? But when I was working one-on-one with clients, I had my calendar filled with all of my ideal clients, and that's where my area of expertise was. Now, you might be thinking, well, what would be your area of expertise? That's what I want to help you find. I want to help you find, maybe you have a ton of experience like Mindy, who I just met in person. She's been working online through the Master IEP Coach Mentorship for a while. She decided to join us in person in Phoenix. And Mindy is a former classroom teacher, a current administrator, and she loves to actually help other teachers. She loves to help empower parents through that role. So she is working on becoming a Master IEP Coach so she can continue to build some additional income with her current expertise as a former teacher and as an administrator. She knows things, right? She knows how to simplify the IEP process in a way where her staff is not overwhelmed with paperwork. She's going to be an excellent Master IEP Coach to coach other teachers and to coach parents through this IEP process without it being overcomplicated. Or maybe you're a teacher like, let me think, Abby. Abby was here this past weekend, and Abby is a classroom teacher who is now doing some consulting and some case management, and she is phenomenal at behavior plans. So her ideal client, her family that she's working with, are actually the students that a lot of people, let's just kind of call it out, become frustrated in this situation. And Abby loves to take away that frustration and, again, simplify the process. So if you imagine a student who is in general education and, he's working on grade level academically, but he tends to always get in trouble. Sometimes he's getting kicked out of class. He's spending a lot of time in the principal's office, and the discipline policy at school has been, just kind of become the go-to of, this child is not able to make it through class. So now we are, sending the child for the discipline according to the discipline plan in the school system. And you know what? They're spending more and more time outside of the classroom than they are inside of the classroom. That's where Abby comes in as a Master IEP Coach, and she's like, you know what? Let's start looking at this differently. Let's figure out how we can support this child so they can spend more time in the classroom and less time getting in trouble. That is her ideal client. So she's working on filling her calendar so she can help the families and help the teachers support this child in a way that makes sense. In our school system that is overstressed, overwhelmed, understaffed, right? We know the real problems that are happening, but there are solutions, and working with a Master IEP Coach can help solve that. So another teacher that was here this weekend in Phoenix and is getting ready to fill her calendar as a Master IEP Coach with her ideal clients is Kimberly. Kimberly loves to work with families who have students in high school and they haven't quite taken advantage of all the different things that are available through a transition plan, right? We know that transition planning in high school, it can feel complicated. It can feel overwhelming. And in fact, sometimes it just feels like it's left out of the process, that it's not given the attention that it needs. Kimberly loves to work with families who have students ages, let's say 15 to 21, and really helping them make sure that they have a plan for what are we going to do with these last years inside of the school system to be prepared for when the child is no longer within the school system. So those are her ideal clients. See, Kimberly, Mindy, Abby, they don't need to know everything about everything because they're really good at what they do now. So if you have thought about, if you're a parent, teacher, admin, therapist, let me give you a little story here about a parent who was here this weekend. Her name is Kim. Her son has a dual diagnosis and has some complex needs, including an AAC device. This parent has spent hours and hours and hours and hours working with the school system, helping them understand who her child is, talking about assistive technology, talking about training for the staff for assistive technology. And she's really dug in and is building a relationship with her child's team so her child is fully supported and has support, especially in that area of communication, because the device that the child is using, right, not everybody knows how to use it. So there's a whole process that we can do within special education to make sure this child is fully supported and all of the complex needs are met. So she's going to be helping other parents understand the IEP system, especially when their child has complex needs, because the conversations can feel very heavy. It can feel very complicated. There's a lot of layers to it. There's a lot of people involved. So she's going to be able to support parents through this process so they're not so lost and they know exactly how to get to where they need to so their child can be supported throughout that school day with less struggles and more success quickly. That's what we want. We need this to happen quickly, right? Because the school days go by fast, the school years go by fast, and we have to find solutions. So I just want to encourage you that if you're thinking, is this thing real? Like, could I really become an IEP coach? Could I be a special education consultant? Yes, I promise you can. If this is something that you are interested in, I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and reach out and ask me, what does the Master IEP Coach Mentorship look like online? Or when is the next Master IEP Coach conference? Because maybe you love to learn in person and you want to do this. Let's talk about who maybe your ideal client is or what your schedule would look like. Is this something that you'd want to do full-time or part-time? See, in special education, did you guys know that special education really came about because parents and teachers worked together to build special education? The voices of parents and teachers had to come together in the 60s and in the 70s, and then finally the law was enacted in 1975. Parents and teachers worked together. How we got to this place where parents and teachers always feel like they're on the opposite side. Okay, maybe not always, but a lot, right? A lot. They feel like they're on the opposite sides. It's us versus them. If we're going to see this next level of success in special education, which we are already seeing as Master IEP Coaches, as a community that's working together. Master IEP Coaches, you are a solo coach. You are running your own business. You are working with your clients, but you have a community of Master IEP Coaches surrounding you to network with you, to help you have the resources that you need. Those are parents and teachers that are working together to help other parents and teachers work together, because that's how we're going to raise expectations in special education. This is how we're going to improve our outcomes in special education, is by having the knowledge, the expertise, and the guides to help us get there, and you could be one of those. So again, I want to encourage you that if you have been thinking about this, if this has been on your heart, or you know what, if your heart hurts when you see things that are going not so good in special education, and I know I felt that way. I felt that way as a sibling. I felt that way as a teacher, and I knew on the inside that I needed to do something just a little bit different. I needed to do something just a little bit more than what I was already doing. And maybe you feel that way too. I'm going to encourage you, come check out the Master IEP Coach Mentorship Program, and just know that if you are a parent, teacher, admin, therapist, it is possible to work together. It is possible to get through the sticky situations, and you don't have to do it alone. So maybe you listen to all this and you're like, you know what, I don't know if I want to become one, but I want to talk to one. I need the help. I don't want to be the help for somebody else, but I need this kind of help. I want you to head to masteriepcoach.com, and on the top you'll see Find a Master IEP Coach. Just click on that and you'll see an entire directory of Master IEP Coaches that are ready to help you through your IEP process. I'll talk to you guys next time.